Then, where did you come up with the idea of a story like Severance, so full of details and nuances?
Well, I was working a series of office jobs when I wrote the pilot. And so a lot of it was just sort of grabbing things that I saw day to day and putting them in the script. But the original idea, I was working at a door factory in Los Angeles, and lovely people there, but it wasn't what I wanted to do. And so I was walking in one day and was like, God, I wish I could just jump ahead and suddenly have it be the end of the day. And then was like, that's a messed up thing to catch yourself wishing for, to experience fewer hours of your day. And so the whole thing just kind of came from there.
For both of you, what was your reaction when you first read the script?
Ooh.
Which one?
Season 1?
Yeah, the first one.
Oh, the first.
When you got the first.
Yeah, the pilot script is kind of a work of art. It's so beautiful. It's so funny. It's so unique. I remember when I was reading it, I just fell in love immediately with all of these characters and this strange little office that Dan Erickson dreamed up. I loved it.
What about you?
I was intrigued by the mystery of it. What is going on in this office? Who are these people?
Yeah.
But I really fell in love with the relationships that they built. The 4 friends, I call them the 4 friends. Navigating this space and how much they lean on each other and learn so much about each other.
I
That
loved
drew me in.
Milchick from the beginning.
Did
I was
you?
like, look at this
Really?
guy.
Top one from the day one.
From day one. I was like, look at this guy. He loves his job.
He's passionate about his job.
He's confident.
Yes, he is.
And
Like our Brazilian fans.
Yes.
and Milchick is, pretty good at putting out the fires that Helly starts.
He tries.
Yeah.
Helly gives him a run for his money.
Yep.
So let's talk about them, because Helly goes through a really interesting journey in season 1. What was the hardest and most fun part of playing her?
Hardest part is wearing pantyhose every day. The best part is my cast.
Yay!
So you were friends. You're really true friends.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've spent a lot of time together.
Yeah.
What about Milchick? What was the hardest part about
Trying to keep the train on the track. Keeping the refiners in line was really tricky.
And I'm trying to get the train off the track. So
Can you stop that? Like, just stop. Just do your job.
that's how I do it.
Yeah, see?
Track.
Oh, I thought it was the best pilot I'd ever read. I mean, it was beautifully constructed. It was 100% unusual and original. But it also fit into my favorite elements of what make a great show or movie or whatever, which is, I grew up watching The Twilight Zone, and being a voracious viewer of The Twilight Zone is when I was like 12, I discovered it. It used to play at 11 p.m. every night on a local station in Santa Cruz where I grew up. And so I just loved those stories and how they were able to kind of launch you into these kind of brain twisting stories with these really well-defined characters. And they did it in a half an hour. And so Dan's script it played with my mind and defied my expectations of where the story was going to go and what it was going to be. But also the characters were, there's this rule that a friend of mine who's a writer kind of told me. He thinks that on television, you should be able to take the character names off of a script, and you should be able to read the script and know exactly which character is saying which line at any given time. And Dan's script really adhered to that. He had these really perfectly and well-designed characters that came to life immediately, and you really knew exactly who they were. And that's really hard to do. So it was exciting in every way.
We could say that you play like 2 roles, because it's the same character, but in 2 different situations. Yeah. How do you do it? How do you put the subtle differences between Danny and Audi?
Yeah, from the beginning, it was important to Ben and Dan and I that it feel like the same guy, that it not be like, one of them has a limp and the other one has like a goatee or something,
A monocle.
That's right. I mean, it's tempting, but we wanted to feel like the same guy, but almost like different halves or different parts of the same guy. Like in everyday life, like you behave differently if you're at a party with strangers than you do when you go back home and hang out with your family, with people who've known you your whole life. So in a way, that's two different sides of you or two different parts of you. So we wanted it to kind of feel like that. One had 40 odd years of life experience and trauma and love and all the things that go into a full life. And the other one is, for all intents and purposes, like 2.5 years old. So that's where we started with trying to balance what's different about the two of them.
All I can say is they sound different in my head, almost like different genres of music.
Oh, that's a great answer. Now the second season is coming. Did you change something about the story while it was going on? What can we expect now?
Well, I mean, the main focus of season 2 was sort of to broaden the scope of it. We wanted to show more of the company, more of the outside world. We see more of the characters' lives on both sides of the severance barrier. And that just presented a lot of really, really exciting opportunities for us. But we wanted to make sure that we were doing that, but also not losing the weird soul that we always thought made the show special. And so it was just kind of how do you zoom out and zoom in at the same time, where we're getting to know the characters better and also getting to know more of the world.
And what about Mark, Adam? What do we have in store for him on season 2?
Yeah, well, we left Mark in a precarious position. So yeah, when we where we left off, one part of him just found out this huge piece of information, an appalling piece of information, and the other is none the wiser. And so, yeah, season 2 is going to have to deal with the circumstances surrounding that.
Well, we pick up where we left off, and we see how he moves forward in this new world. What his responsibility is.
He has a lot of more responsibilities in season 2, right?
Well, he's got to clean up the mess he's made in season 1. The whole overtime contingency thing, that was his idea. Walking into Dylan's closet and then, flipping the switch, and now Dylan knows, and so he has to clean that up. So we'll see what happens if he cleans it up.
And from Helly, what do we have in store for her, Britt?
I think Helly will continue to make messes that Milchick has to clean up. Yeah, I mean, at the end of season 1, all of the characters have gotten a little glimpse of who they are on the outside, and it's complicated their own sense of identity. So I think all of them are hungrier to find more meaning in their lives, and especially Helly, who now realizes that her Audi is the golden child of the company that has imprisoned her. And she simultaneously wants to burn that company to the ground. And also she wants to save the severed workers who she has come to love. So there's competing forces all around.
Would you guys be up for the Severance experience?
Ooh,
that's a good question.
It's tempting. It is tempting. And I still find myself on certain days going into work and be like, okay, a lot to do today.
Yeah.
It would be nice to just be going to my bed right now.
That's right.
But no, I think if there's one thing that this show has changed in my life, it's that I catch myself wishing for that much less than I used to, because I legitimately do love going into work and making this thing with these people.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I would, just because if we're splitting it up with work and home life, for me, they're both so enjoyable. And I would feel badly for the other particularly the home life and particularly my kids. That means the other one would completely miss out on watching these kids turn into grown-ups and how incredible that is. And so I wouldn't want to deprive one of the other. Like going to the dentist or something, sure, I'd
Yeah,
settle
sure.
for that.
I don't think it's for me. I think I'm a little nervous about having my brain operated on. But I respect people who, you know, would want to go through
What
it.
about you?
I don't think it's for me either.
Do you have innies and outies on set as well? I mean, then what is Adam's outie?
There's
Like
not
real life.
I think this is a testament to the integrity of Adam Scott, that there's not that much difference between the innie and the outie. I've gotten to know both pretty well, and I feel like it's generally the same guy, which I think says a lot. I think a lot of people are very different in a work and life setting, and Adam is too, of course. But I feel like it's not as big of a gap as with some other people.
Yeah. I can't really say the same for Dan. Like, dude, it's crazy. Like, we get to work and it is not a democracy. Let me just put it that way. No, it's very much the same lovely guy that I met the first time I met him.
What's the reflection you hope people will make?
I think the show speaks so much about identity. You know, the first line in the pilot is, "Who are you?" And people ask the question, is this person mean? Is this person nice? Is this the hero? Is this the villain? And I love the fact that it's ambiguous. You don't all the way know. So I think a big part of it is about who we are as people.
Yeah, I think the season 1 rattled people in different ways because we were all reckoning with who we are in relationship to our work. And I think season 2 expands on that idea. And like, once you kind of cracked open, who am I in relationship to my work? And does my work have meaning? Then you can kind of start asking, well, who am I in relationship to the people around me? Whether that's my chosen family or my given family or my work family. And those are kind of the questions that I think the show is exploring.
Who are you people?
Welcome back, Marcus. Been a minute.